Welcome to a video presentation on Google and LSI, Latent Semantic Indexing. My name is Abbas Ravji, and in this video we're going to be covering a number of areas. We're going to start off by looking at Google. We're going to look at understanding what Google is doing and what they're up to. We're going to look at Google's evolution and the bigger picture. We're going to look at LSI, Latent Semantic Indexing. I'm going to show you how to LSI, and I will be showing you a fully scaled example of this as well, guys. We're going to be looking at some LSI tips and tricks, how to get your LSI words that we're actually looking for, and we're going to end up with a conclusion. At the end of this, guys, you're going to understand the difference between related keywords and LSI keywords, and I'm also going to be talking about a brand new WordPress plugin that me and my team have developed after being inspired by the Hummingbird update. Now, this is actually the second of its kind. Well, when I say the second of its kind, then I mean the second tool that me and my team have developed after being inspired by the Hummingbird update. If you've already got one of our previous tools, which is HQ Suggest, guys, then that was actually a keyword mining tool, and it gets you keyword suggestions and a number of things. This one's totally different, totally unique, fantastic piece of software, and I'll be talking to you about it further on. So let's start off with Google, guys. There's a number of things that I want to bring to your attention. Firstly, there's two updates that I want to bring to your attention. The first one is Hummingbird. If you followed my video tutorials and presentations, then the last one that we actually released was on Hummingbird, guys, and I'll try and leave a link on this page so you can actually see it if you haven't seen the previous one. But just very briefly, guys, I'm not here to talk to you about the actual updates, but we can't ignore them. So very briefly, the Hummingbird update affects 90% of searches. It understands the relationship between words and more complex queries, and it's Google's way of pushing forward to better the search results. And then we got Penguin. We got Penguin, which fights web spam. It fights unnatural links. When you're using your anchor text too many times, when you're using your money keywords too many times, it fights blog networks. And it's basically Google's way of punishing webmasters and penalizing them for trying to manipulate the search engines. So Google's evolving, guys. It's making updates to understand queries in a more complex manner. It's also penalizing us. Obviously, we've known this for so long, obviously, with so many of Google's updates, but understanding exactly where Google's heading, what they're looking to do, guys, then we'll find out exactly what we need to give Google in order for them to deliver us the rankings that we're looking for. So this is actually just an image of showing you the Google interface that has changed since 2001 to 2013, a picture that I found on the net. Okay, so let's understand exactly what Google's doing. So SEO methods just get tweaked when Google makes an update. So if Google releases a caffeine update, or a panda update, or a penguin update, or a hummingbird update, or whatever other updates have actually released, then what you'll notice is webmasters, SEO experts, they just tweak their methods to comply with the latest algorithms. So looking at how the methods have actually evolved gives us a better understanding as to what Google's actually up to. So the methods below, which I'm going to point out to you in a moment, may sound familiar to you. Now, they may not be in order, but it should give a general feel to exactly what's been happening. So to start off, we would create rich anchor text links to give page 1 rankings. You might not have to have anything on your content with a keyword on there, guys, but as long as your anchor text links have got the keyword on there, you could start to see rankings. Now, obviously, the past. So then we had to optimize our pages and create keyword-rich anchor text links. So we had to make sure our pages were optimized. We had to use heading tags. We had to use titles, have our keywords in our titles, and so much more. And then obviously that changed as well. Then we had to be very careful of where we'd actually get the links from. So not any old link would do. You know, spamming software tools started to go out of business because obviously not any old link would do, because bad links were actually getting us penalized, and they were counted as spammy type of links. Then obviously we had to start making sure that we didn't over-optimize our pages as well, using the same keywords over and over again. And then obviously we had to start varying our anchor text. If not, we could get penalized for using it too much. So it's always been like a never-ending battle, and I'm sure you'd agree with me as well. And I'm sure you'd also agree that these methods were actually successful, and we could rank content without much thought at all. And it's been very easy to manipulate the search engines. Google knows this, they're not silly, and they're doing all they can to give the best index results to a search query. And in order to do this, guys, they can't have us, trying to manipulate the results and getting up there based on us building backlinks or using keywords so many times. They want structured content, and the way they're going to get structured content is by structuring their search engine even more as well. And this is what Hummingbird's all about. So the Google Hummingbird algorithm, it's a rewrite. It looks at factors in a whole new way, and I'm going to be talking about this on the next page. Links are still very important, so don't get me wrong, guys, and they'll continue to be very important. However, there's something that we really need to understand here, that links will provide minimum value if proper thought hasn't gone into how your content and site is structured. So again, guys, we're coming back over to the site. So much emphasis on the site, and what you'll realize is a properly structured site, and a site that has been built from the ground up with your main keyword in mind, and you've built your site based around your keyword theme, it will require 1/10 of the actual backlinks to rank that website when comparing to other websites that haven't been fully structured in the way that we're going to be looking at structuring our content and our sites in the way that Google actually wants this done. So I've got a little image here, guys, penguin against penguin, and the reason I've got the penguins there, guys, is because the majority of the methods that we've always been looking at to get ranked in the search engines has always been about keyword related, has always been about getting our using our keywords in our anchor text, has always been about optimizing our pages, and the majority of the penalties that we've received over time has always been related to web spam. So penguin is related to web spam. That's why I've got a penguin picture up here, guys. But what we're going to look at now is we're going to look at Google's evolution and the bigger picture, guys. And Hummingbird, it changes everything. So the Hummingbird update gives an insight into search unlike any other update. It has a whole new rewrite to the algorithm. Now, this update must have taken years of working inside of Google Labs or wherever they're actually rewriting the codes and everything, guys, before they were actually finally able to release it. And we're right at the beginning of this update. It brings fantastic opportunity for all of us, guys, but we need to understand it in order to benefit from this. So what can we understand from the actual Hummingbird update? So the Hummingbird update is the beginning of a massive shift. Now, we need to understand this, guys, but what we also need to understand is we're not going to see that shift, and we're not going to see them changes instantaneously. And the reason behind it is because everything needs time to adapt. Okay, and Google also needs time to adapt as well. It's a brand new update. Now, I'm sure they've had many beta little environments or sandbox environments where they've been testing this, but it's actually it's the very first release to public. Now, Google's moving. What we need to understand is that it's a massive shift. Google's moving away from displaying results based on keyword matches only, but is now looking past the keywords and trying to understand the actual query. So it's trying to understand the bigger picture and the bigger meaning from that search query. And in the same way that it understands the bigger meaning of searches now and search queries that are inputted by users, so in this same manner, Google also understands the bigger picture of our site as a whole. It sees who we link out to, it sees what our internal content is about, and what the overall keyword theme of our site is. So it's very important that we build our site around our keyword to form a strong keyword-based theme, leaving no doubt in Google's eyes exactly what our site is about. Now, obviously, when we get onto the LSI part, guys, it's going to make much more sense in exactly what I'm trying to explain here. But LSI works in such a fantastic way that it actually can give us rankings for certain keywords that we haven't even optimized for, and the whole reason behind that is because of the hidden meaning that grouped words and grouped stuff can actually provide. And obviously we're going to be talking about this on the next slide, I believe. Okay, so what we need to understand, guys, is that we're still in the very early stages, and Google will continue to build on this update, and obviously I have no doubt that it's only going to continue to get better. But taking away from this, for us, this means two things. One, as Google builds on the new algorithm and starts understanding more complex queries, then users that perform searches on Google will start to realize that they will get a better search engine result from Google if they perform a full query for Google to understand. So this will mean users will start to adapt to the changes and perform more complex queries, such as asking the search engine the full question. So as an example, let's say I wanted to find out what the height of the Eiffel Tower was. Traditional methods might be something like Eiffel Tower height. So I'm using the keywords Eiffel Tower and height. Whereas what you might start to realize now is to get a much more better and precise answer from Google is you need to give it a much better search query. And this is exactly what it's heading to. So instead of me typing in Eiffel Tower height, I'll type in something like, what is the height of the Eiffel Tower? And Google will be able to understand that, they'll be able to digest it, comprehend exactly what I'm looking for, and feed me with the best results. Whereas Eiffel Tower height might bring up a number of different results. Now, obviously, that's a pretty lame example that I'm giving there, guys, because I haven't actually thought of any examples, but I'm just trying to better explain the actual theory behind this, so that it sticks with us and we can get a better understanding of this. So the way we target our keywords will need to be worked on at a whole new level and at a whole new understanding. The second point from this, guys, is it means we need to structure our websites properly, building it around our keyword theme, interlinking it correctly, and making sure we give Google no doubt on what the theme of our site is about. We don't want to give it different signals. We want to give it the one signal. We want to show it exactly what our site is related to, and this has never been more important than after the Google Hummingbird update. So what we're going to do is we're going to move over and talk about LSI, latent semantic indexing, and the very first thing, or the best way for me to explain LSI, is to come back to the basics and hopefully try and build a bigger picture or a clearer picture for you to understand. So firstly, latent means hidden. So the actual word latent in latent semantic indexing means hidden, and the word semantic, it means related to meaning in language. So in essence, it means the hidden meaning. Okay, and LSI obviously means indexing, and LSI, latent semantic indexing, is used by search engines, and this allows them to find highly relevant content for any search term. Now, just try and understand that for one moment, guys. It means the hidden meaning. Now, the hidden meaning is something that's hidden, obviously, something that's concealed from the eyes and is hidden and we can't find it. So to get a hidden meaning, I'm sure I explain this further down. So let me give you an example of exactly what I mean. So a site that talks about Bing, Excel and Hotmail, it might rank for Microsoft, for the keyword Microsoft, even though the content might not have Microsoft in it. Okay, and it's like reading between the lines. So Google has understood Bing, Excel and Hotmail are all products of Microsoft, so it might rank the website based on that meaning or based on them grouped words that belong to Microsoft. So it's actually reading between the lines, it's understanding the whole concept behind that website, and it's going to start ranking it for Microsoft. So if done properly, then LSI gives a meaningful structure to our content and site, and the hidden meaning will be found from the surrounded content and the site theme. So as long as we're doing our LSI properly, guys, it's going to give a very meaningful structure to our website. The navigation is going to be fantastic. Our site's going to be structured really well, and it will also mean that the hidden meaning that we're trying to give to Google, well, obviously it's not going to be hidden if we're actually optimizing this way, but it actually means Google's going to be able to get all of the understanding that it needs from our content on our website and the structure of our website. So this is why it's very important we not only structure our content but our whole site around our keyword theme. So it's very important that we use LSI. So for us, what this means is it's very important to build our site based on keyword themes. Okay, we're not looking at just basing it on our main primary keyword, as I don't know, so many of us have all been taught, or how so many of us have been ranking before. I'm not saying there was anything wrong with that, guys, because they worked. But now it's time to change. We need to start to embrace these changes and make our websites future-proof. So it basically means we need to start building our sites based on keyword themes. If we're targeting a keyword, then our site needs to be based around that keyword, not just the one page or the 2 pages. Unless obviously you're a massive authority, guys, then it's totally different. But obviously I'm talking about how we can manage to make sure we give Google no doubt at all what our theme and our site is related to. In exactly the same example that I gave above, guys, a website can rank for Microsoft if they're talking about Bing, Excel and Hotmail because of Google understanding the LSI relationship and ranking it for that grouped keyword of Microsoft. Okay, so let's have a look at how to LSI. First of all, guys, it starts off with research. Okay, we need to try to do this before we even build the site. Our content and site, what I'm saying here, guys, our content and site. So when we talk about optimizing our content, when we're talking about writing our content, or when we talk about content, or when we talk about LSI in general, then we're always talking about just the content. So we're always talking about, okay, I'm going to write a topic on, I don't know, cheap SEO services, and I'm going to optimize that page for cheap SEO services. What I'm talking about here, guys, is we're optimizing our whole site based around our primary keyword. So if our primary keyword is SEO services, then we need to use our whole site to generate that that relevancy and that keyword theme. So I'm talking about the site and the content, guys. It's going to make much more clearer once we come down to the example as well. Okay, so the site and the content needs to be built with LSI in mind. This is why it's essential that we start the research process to the beginning before we even build the site. So building our site is very important. The way that we interlink and stick to the keyword theme is a very important step, and I'm going to try and cover this on my next video. Interlinking in your website, guys, is very, very important. And there's a number of reasons why it's important. I'll come to this in a moment, but it actually goes past the scope of this actual video, and I'm going to be covering it in another video. So I'm going to actually give you an example now, guys. I'm going to give you an example of how to use LSI site-wide, so base your whole website and build your whole website around a LSI structure, and also how to keep it all related and interlinked together. Obviously, like I mentioned, I can't cover the full interlinking part of it, but it should give you a good example. So let's have a look at an example. Okay, the example that I've chosen here is hosting. Okay, we're going to use hosting as our primary keyword. Now, again, guys, hosting is going to be our primary keyword. Okay, and what we're going to do now is we're going to have secondary keywords. So working from hosting as our primary keyword, our secondary keywords are going to be things like shared hosting, dedicated hosting, VPS hosting, reseller hosting, web hosting. Okay, now these are our secondary keywords. Now our secondary keywords, guys, let's look at them as pages. Okay, so say for example you're working with WordPress, let's look at hosting as your home page, let's look at your shared hosting, dedicated hosting, your secondary keywords as your pages. Now your pages are going to be ranking as well. Now there's going to be a special way to actually interlink all of this, guys, to keep the authority flowing, to keep the theme flowing and showing Google, well, the Google robots, exactly what they're going to land on next and keeping everything related, which I'm going to cover in my next video. But just keeping with this example, just imagine the hosting page as your home page, your shared hosting, dedicated hosting, well, basically your secondary keywords as your pages. And now what we're going to do is have supporting keywords for reseller hosting. Okay, so I'm going to have a look at reseller hosting as one page now. Okay, and we want to rank reseller hosting, for example. Now we want to give that proper theme and proper LSI structure to Google. Obviously our main keyword is hosting, our secondary keywords are already noted down there, and now we're going to have a look at exactly how you'd work on the pages. So for example, you might have something like Linux reseller hosting, you might have something like Windows reseller hosting, affordable reseller hosting, cheap reseller hosting, premium reseller hosting. Now all of these, guys, are going to be your supporting keywords for your reseller hosting. Now obviously this is one whole site as a whole. Now it's very important the way we actually interlink all these together. What we don't want to do is talk about premium reseller hosting in the shared for hostings page or on a shared for hosting category, or we don't want to do Windows reseller hosting in dedicated hosting, because we're talking about, or Windows reseller hosting in, I don't know, VPS hosting. or we don't want to be talking about Linux reseller hosting in shared hosting, for example. Now, there's a very special way that we can actually interlink this together. If you've heard of the silo structure, then obviously that's a fantastic way of getting this done. It's like a pyramid. It's all interlinking in such a way that it's flowing through with relevance of keywords and theme, and it's also passing over the actual authority of the pages and keeping the robots in such a spiral way that it really catapults our sites in Google's eyes of relevancy and really brings up our LSI scores. Okay, and we can do exactly the same for supported keywords for shared hosting. Now, what I've done here, I've just changed over the word reseller hosting to shared hosting. You don't have to have exactly the same things on here, guys. But as you can see, we've got things like Linux shared hosting, Windows shared hosting, affordable shared hosting, cheap shared hosting, premium shared hosting, and these will all be linked over to, for example, shared hosting. And then these will be linked over, the ones here, Linux reseller hosting, will be linked over to reseller hosting. Now, this is like your blueprint, guys. Like, this is exactly what you'd be doing before you set out to build your website. So now you got this, and you can build up your website. Now you can say, okay, my main keyword, my primary keyword, the keyword that's going to make me the most money is going to be hosting, or whatever your keyword is. So obviously I'm not showing you exactly how to pick your most lucrative keywords here, but as an example, and then you're going to say, okay, now let's have a look at the LSI keywords of hosting, and let me also look at let me look at other lucrative keywords as well. So your secondary keywords are also going to be lucrative keywords. They're going to be keywords that you're looking to rank for as well, but they're also going to be highly relevant and related to your main keyword. And then from there, you're going to pull down roots, or you're going to pull down branches, which are going to be supporting keywords that are going to be supporting your overall theme and show Google exactly what your site's about. So when it comes to reseller hosting, all your linked items from reseller hosting is all about reseller hosting. And obviously, you got some internal linking and some outgoing links going over to your internal link, going over to different pages. Again, the whole internal linking structure, I'm gonna have to do a whole video on that, which I hope to do later on. But this is just a quick example, guys. It's like your blueprint, exactly what you'd be doing before you go out to actually set up a website. It needs some thought in there, something that we might not have been used to in the past, but it's very important that we do this now. Okay, so how to LSI? So LSI interlinking, guys. Okay, so interlinking is important for 3 reasons. It helps the user's experience. B, so that we can correctly structure and organize what the search engine robots will see after leaving the page. So we're not talking about the location of the internal links and how easy it is for the user to navigate, but on this part we're talking about sticking with the same keyword LSI theme and the LSI theme of the internal pages that the page is actually linking to. So if a search engine robot comes over to a certain page, I'm talking about the outbound links or the internal links that this page is linking to. We want to structure it in such a way so that it's all based and revolves around our main keyword and our main topics. Okay, and C, to control the flow of page rank and page authority. Okay, and LSI and content. So again, guys, we've got LSI on site, so internal linking. We're linking in an LSI manner. We're building our categories or our pages based on our secondary keywords. We're using supporting keywords for our posts. And obviously now we have LSI in content as well. We want our content to rank as well, guys. So it's very important that we use LSI keywords inside of our content as well. So it's important we know what our LSI words are so that we can cover them in our content. It's no longer about how many times we use our keywords. We need to make Google understand our whole website theme, and this is done by correctly structured websites built around LSI, and this includes categories, posts, and articles, all built around our primary keyword. And obviously we will cover this on our next video. And the other part, guys, is questions and how-to. Searching for questions and how-tos in our niche will give us 2 advantages. Firstly, they give us a solid understanding of the topics and questions being asked in our niche by real users, and they give us topics to cover for our supporting articles. And finally, by covering these topics, we'll get the opportunity to show more relevancy for our keyword theme and have the opportunity to benefit from the longer and more complex queries such as questions, which the Hummingbird update is actually looking to target, conversational kind of queries and terms. Okay, so LSI tips and tricks and techniques, guys. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to come away from the presentation and I'm going to show you a fantastic way that I actually perform LSI. So I'm going to go over to Google, okay, and what I'm on here, I'm actually on Google Docs. I'm on Google Docs spreadsheets. So as you can see up here, Google Docs spreadsheets. And what I'm going to do is Google, they used to have this thing known as Google Sets, and what they used to do, they used to set up and link and related keywords and everything together. They actually removed that from the lab some time ago. And this feature was fantastic to find LSI keywords, but it's you know, they no longer have it. So they do actually have the functionality in Google Spreadsheets. Now, this is a way that I've been using, something that I've been using for some time now. It's a fantastic way to do it, and I'm sure it's going to be new to you all. So I'm going to show you. So for example, I'll show you exactly how this works. Let's type in Monday. Okay. Okay, I'm going to type in Monday, and what I'm going to do now is click away from it and click back on it, and then towards the bottom we've got a little box there, and I'm going to click on Control and drag that down. Click on the mouse button as well and drag that down. Okay, and what this has done, okay, let's not use that example, it's a bad example. Okay, but what I'm going to do is I'm going to actually show you exactly how I use this. So let's say, for example, my keyword is hosting. Okay, I'm going to click on hosting. I'm going to click on there now, press the Control key and drag the mouse down to the bottom, and what you see actually gives me some keywords that Google thinks that are related to hosting. So it's giving me hosting, domains, SEO, web design, support, domain, SEO services. As you can see, they're very far apart though. Okay, so here's another way to do it. So let's say, for example, we've got web hosting. Let's see what results that gives us. Okay, I'm going to show you exactly how we can drill down and get really specific, guys. You're not going to want to miss this part, so please do pay attention. So as you can see, with web hosting, we've got web hosting, comments RSS, entries RSS, WordPress, web design, login. Still nothing related to hosting really. So what we'll do now is we'll do it with two keywords. We'll give Google two keywords to give us relations based on that. So what we're doing in essence is actually helping Google now by giving it more information on exactly how we're trying to narrow this down. So I'll type in web hosting and I'll type in dedicated hosting. Okay, now we know dedicated hosting and web hosting are from the same, that they're talking about different areas of the same thing. Now what I'll do is press that Control and drag that down, and let's have a look what we get now. Now we've got web hosting, dedicated hosting, VPS hosting, reseller hosting, dedicated servers, cloud hosting, e-commerce hosting, blog hosting, email hosting. Can you see the power that we get out of this feature, guys? Okay, let's have a look at this. Car. Okay, you can do this with any keyword you like, guys. I'm not sure about different language if it works with that or not, because I've never done that. Now, if we have a look at this, we've got car, hotel, truck, flight, motorcycle, quite far apart, yeah? Now let's have a look at this. Let's type in car, and then let's type in lorry. Okay, now we know both of these are automobiles. Okay, now let's see what Google understands from this. Again, highlight them both, drag them down with Control. Now we've got car, lorry, bus, train, truck, taxi, van, helicopter. We've still got something that flies in the sky though. Okay, so let's try this. Let's try car, lorry, van. So now we're giving Google three things to work on, okay, to get even more. Basically, we're drilling down to get even more specific. Now let's drag this down. Now let's see we get car, lorry, van, truck, bus, motorcycle, I don't know, SUV, pickup, vehicle, trailer, tractor, trucks and Jeep. As you can see, there's no aeroplane in here now, there's no helicopter in here now, and we can get we can really narrow down and drill down and get some fantastic LSI keywords from Google themselves, and not a lot of people know about this, guys, and this is one of my pro tips that I actually use myself. So have a look at this, have a play with this, guys. This alone is worth, you know, spending a month somewhere to go and learn about, because it really does help you narrow down and show you exactly what kind of keywords Google groups your main keywords with. Okay, so let's go back over here. We've got other tools as well, guys. So I'm going to keep this very brief. We're gonna go over to the conclusion in a moment. So other tools, obviously, if you haven't seen our HQ Suggest software, guys, then it's a keyword suggestion tool. It works with up to 9 search engines. It gets you questions and how-tos and gives you the ability to actually explore your niche and find out exactly what's getting searched for, which is fantastic. And these suggestions are suggested by the search engines themselves. And we've got another site here as well, guys, called LSIKeywords.com. I'm going to go over that. I'm going to go over to that and show you this. It's called LSI Key. I'll go to the home page and I'll show you exactly what this is. Okay, LSIKeywords.com. In here, I'm going to type in hosting. Okay, so you can get a good understanding of exactly how this works. We can do top 5 or top 10. Now this isn't fantastic, but it's a good site. Obviously we're looking to explore, we're looking to drill down and narrow down our niche as much as we can, so anything that can help us is going to help us. So as you can see here, here are the results. We've got 1-word results, we've got 2-word phrases, and we've got 3-word phrases as well. So we can actually have a look at the 3-word ones: hosting, VPS, hosting dedicated, hosting, reseller hosting, VPS, hosting reviews, hosting, search options, show. So as you can see, we've got some pretty cool LSI keywords down here. Now, one thing that I want to try and explain to you is LSI keywords aren't the same as related keywords, guys. They're not the same as synonyms in a sense whereby, you know, you can't say you know, Microsoft and Bing, or you can't say dedicated hosting and I don't know. If we have a look up here, a synonym is very different to an LSI keyword, guys. I'll give you another example as well. One of the examples we've got down here in the presentation is Google Trends and Google Keyword Planner at bottom of Google search results. Okay, fantastic. Let's have a look at the bottom of Google search results. What we'll do is we'll go back over to here. Okay, so have a play with this, guys. Again, you can start exploring further. Okay, we'll go to Google. Okay, and what we'll do is we'll type in something like hosting. Okay, this should give me a better understanding of how to explain. And what we're going to do is we're going to go to the bottom now of Google, and Google shows some searches related to hosting. Now have a look at this. It says hosting reviews, web hosting, Google hosting, hosting synonym, web hosting reviews, WordPress hosting, image hosting, free hosting. Now what you'll find down here, guys, amongst these is, yes, you will find some basically they're related to hosting. The typical searches that Google are suggesting that others have searched for, and at the same time you'll find the majority of them being sort of like synonyms and not LSIs, but you can get some real cool LSIs on here as well sometimes. So that's brilliant. But again, guys, when thinking about LSIs, when thinking about structuring your website and building your website around your keyword theme, then just keep in mind the hidden meaning. That's what I do. If you wasn't ranking, if your website was all about Microsoft, would you be able to rank for Microsoft? Would it be very easy for you to know about that your website's about Microsoft without having the word Microsoft in there? So if your website's all about, we can do the same with Adobe products. So say, for example, your website was talking about Dreamweaver, your website was talking about After Effects, it was talking about Photoshop, it was talking about Flash, then it'd be very easy to tell that your website is actually talking about Adobe products. So just remember that one thing there, you know, the hidden meaning. Would you be able to find out from the hidden meaning without noting something on your website that this is what your website's about? And that's what LSI is all about, guys, reading in between the lines. Okay, we've got some more notes down here as well, guys. Google Trends. Google Trends is a brilliant place to go as well. So with Google Trends, guys, we're going on Explore. Okay, and again, it isn't always LSI. It's very difficult to actually find a place where to get proper LSIs from. The trick that I showed you here with Google Spreadsheets, guys, this is mostly the closest one that I've got to find good LSI keywords. So let's go back over to Trends and I'll show you how Trends works. Let's type in hosting, for example. Okay, it's actually a good way to find out exactly what's going on with our industry as well, or with our keywords with hosting. As you can see, this is like interest over time is shot down, but it's still massively high. We're looking down here. Okay, related searches again. We've got web hosting, hosting free web hosting, website hosting, server hosting, image hosting, domain, and then you've got the rising ones as well. So you've got file hosting, best hosting, video hosting. So this actually just gives you a little understanding of exactly what's happening with your keyword and your industry and whatnot you as well. So it's always good to have a look at. Obviously we've got the Google AdWords Google keyword tool, which we can't forget. With Google keyword tool, as you can see, I've already done hosting down here. With hosting, it's going to give you the traffic search results with there as well, and the cost per click, and a number of synonyms, related terms, and some LSI keywords in there as well. Okay, obviously Wikipedia is going to be one of your best ways to actually get your synonyms, guys. Let's go over to Wikipedia. As you can see, I'm on the Wikipedia page here about web hosting. Now, it took me about 2 minutes, guys, and what I done, I actually come down here and I went down to types of hosting, and types of hosting, it had everything written down here for me. We've got free web hosting services, we've got shared web hosting services, we've got reseller web hosting, we've got virtual dedicated servers, we've got dedicated hosting services, we've got managed hosting services, we've got cloud hosting, we've got clustered hosting. So as you can see, doing just a little bit of research in your industry, what you're looking to target, you'll find out so much more details, and you'll know exactly what your secondary keywords need to be, what your categories need to be, what your pages need to be, and what your supporting keywords and articles need to be as well. Building up your theme and structuring it in such a way, in such a themed and keyword based themed way, and interlinking it in such a way that even if you don't have keywords on your website based around a certain product, but because your whole website is so geared and focused towards such a theme, Google's going to start ranking your website for that. Okay, then obviously we've got authority sites as well, guys. Research your industry, have a look at the authority sites in your industry, have a look at the categories, have a look at the posts and see exactly what's happening, how they're ranking in the search engines and what they're covering, not how they're ranking the search engines, but what kind of topics they're covering and why Google has put them towards the top. Okay, so I'm going to take you over to a conclusion, guys. Okay, so the future of search is no longer about showing results based on keywords only. Google can now read between the lines and see exactly what a site's theme is about. If we don't set things up correctly, then Google might never understand our website theme, and relevancy is a massive factor, and we need our sites to be as relevant as possible, and we can do this correctly by creating and structuring our site and content. Not only will this provide a better user experience for our users, but we'll also be able to gain a massive search engine benefit with minimum effort. And with the Hummingbird update, it's an update that we should all embrace, guys. It gives Google the core algorithm to look beyond keywords and understand more complex questions and queries. We should look to cover questions related to our niche on our site and longer tail keywords as well, guys. We need to build our sites around our primary and secondary keywords so that our content and site is all related. Again, guys, not only do we want to build our content based around LSI keywords, but our whole site needs to be built around them LSI keywords. We want our categories to be all LSI related, want our homepage and everything all LSI related, just like a family tree, guys. If you think of a family tree diagram, you got grandpa at the top, it roots down to their children, then obviously from their children every child has their own little family tree. So the child got married off, they got married off, they had children, their children had children, and it roots down to their own little tree. And that's exactly how we're structuring it in a silo manner on our websites when we're talking about the interlinking structure. Okay, and we need to interlink it in such a way that we can control our keyword theme, provide better user navigation, and control the flow of our page rank and page authority. Again, guys, I promise to cover this in another video tutorial of a video demonstration and presentation, because it is somewhat quite complex. Well, it isn't complex at all, to be honest. Just trying to understand it and explain it is going to be a little complex, but once I pass over the information, guys, it's going to be very, very easy to do, because I've actually got a gift for you as well. So I'm actually waiting for that gift to actually get developed before I come out with that next video demonstration. Sorry, the next video presentation. Okay, so finally, guys, I want to talk to you about a brand new plugin that me and my team is actually developing, that was actually inspired after the Google Hummingbird update. It's a WordPress plugin. It's got nothing to do with keyword research or anything like that. It's actually a brand new WordPress plugin, guys, and as we should all know, the Hummingbird update brings new opportunities and strategies that we can actually benefit from, as long as we actually understand exactly what's happening. I've understood what's happening. I know where Google's heading with this, guys, and I'm very cautious to actually, start implementing things that might, get us into trouble, guys. This is nothing like that whatsoever. If you're interested in this, guys, and you want to know about this new WordPress plugin that's been inspired by the Google update, then you can get on the waiting list, at abbasravji.com/Google-Hummingbird-inspired-WP-plugin-tool. And again, guys, this is a plugin that actually provides value to both your site, to your visitors, and to Google as well. So it isn't something to do with backlinks at all. It's got nothing to do with keyword research as well, guys. Totally different, and it's a fantastic tool, something you're not going to want to miss out on. So do get on that waiting list. I promise you're not going to want to miss it. Okay, finally, guys, that's the end of the training. I'm going to come back to this example one last time, guys, so you can see it one more time. We get our main keyword. If you think of that keyword as your home page, if you think of these as your pages or your category pages, which are your secondary pages, and if you think of your supporting articles or your supporting keywords, they're going to be from articles that are based around supporting keywords for them actual category pages, and it's all going to be interlinked in such a way, guys, in like a tree sort of structure, whereby reseller hosting will have reseller articles, on reseller hosting, shared hosting will have shared hosting articles, and obviously you'll have certain links coming from your post pages going to your shared hosting and your home pages, and it all I've actually got half a diagram here that I've built, guys. When I come over with the brand new training on the interlinking, then we'll see exactly how we can flow that authority, keep it all together, and really, get some juicy rankings just because we've structured our websites well. Anyway, guys, this is the end of the video training. I really hope you enjoyed it. I hope it brought some better understanding of exactly where we're heading towards. However, one thing that we need to understand, especially after all these changes have come in, is that if our website isn't structured in the correct manner, then all the backlinking that we're going to be doing, guys, is really going to have minimal effects. So it's very important that we take on this training, start to look at building our websites in a structured way, as opposed to just spamming the hell out of our sites, hoping for the best, and then hoping that we're not going to get penalized by the next update. That's the past. The future is future-proof SEO, and I'm going to be showing you exactly how we can do that. So anyway, this is the end of our video tutorial of Google and LSI training, and I hope to see you in the next video. So if you're not already on our email list, guys, then get on our email list so we can actually keep you updated on when we release our new videos. Thank you very much, and I hope you enjoy the video.